Kris Van Cleave joins me now. Hi, Kris. This was a very emotional hearing. Was there one particular moment that stuck out to you?
Tanya, good to be with you. I think there were a couple. Certainly listening to the testimony like that the men on the panel, think about those last 6 minutes of Ethiopian Flight 302 and what that meant for their family members was powerful. You could see people wiping tears from their eyes during particularly Paul's testimony. So that was powerful. And I think in speaking with both of these families over the course of this story, you are struck by just how horrific their loss has been, how real and enduring their heartbreak is.
And, you know, Boeing's entire line of MAX 737s has been grounded since March. Is there a timeline at this point to get these planes back up in the air?
Well, anyone who has offered a timeline to date has been wrong. So we can tell you that Boeing is working towards the goal of having the planes back in service this year. However, sources from across the aviation sector are telling me that there is growing concern that the MAX may not be carrying passengers again until sometime in 2020. So it will happen is the expectation. The questions that will factor into that are things like, will the FAA find other issues with the MAX? Remember, Boeing was pretty much ready to submit the software fixes for the airplane, and then FAA test pilots found another issue, which Boeing is now working on addressing, hopefully, they hope, through software. If they have to make hardware changes to the airplane, that will easily push the grounding into 2020. So there's some uncertainty here for sure.
And Kris, family members said Boeing blamed the pilots for these crashes. Who do they say is really at fault?
Well, the families blame Boeing and the FAA. They blame Boeing for building an airplane with what they see as a very clear design flaw, and they blame the FAA for not catching what they believe is a serious design flaw. So if you're the families here, you blame Boeing primarily, and you blame the FAA certification process.
And so what demands did the families make of Boeing and the FAA?
Well, the families told Congress they would like to see changes to the FAA certification process and that sort of cozy relationship between manufacturer and regulator that's been the focus of so much of this. They said they wanted to see all of the ongoing investigations, and there are many of them right now. They'd like to see all of the investigations completed before the MAX returns to flight. They want to see the 737 MAX certified in a different, more stringent way, as though it was a brand new clean sheet airplane as opposed to the latest variant of an existing aircraft. And then they would like to see the pilots that are going to be flying the MAX jets be given simulator training as opposed to computer training. The FAA is still deciding how they're going to require the new training, in what form. So they made a lot of requests. Many of them, frankly, are unlikely to happen.
All right. Well, Kris Van Cleave, we thank you so much for your reporting. Thank you.
Sure thing.